It is Wednesday with the Whittemore Group, and I'm Tim here, going to talk about some things today about your advantages and disadvantage of selling your house on your own, or by owner, or as we say here in the industry, as a FSBO. It's just an abbreviation. Don't worry about it. So there's a variety of different reasons that you want to sell your house on your own. One of the main reasons that people like to do this is because they're trying to save on money. They're trying to not have to pay that commission out and collect as much money as they can. Others might be because they believe that they could sell it the best on their own because they know it the best, and a variety of different reasons. But today I'm going to give you some of the pros and some of the cons from a real estate agent's perspective of doing such. And I'm going to try to stay as partial as I possibly can. All right, so number one, let's just jump into the pros. What are some cool things about you selling it on your own? Again, I have no animosity or anything against this. I think if it's your house, it's your right to sell it on your own. So some cool things here. First one is you may make more money on the sale. It's very possible, especially right now in the seller's market. It is possible for you to go ahead and sell it on your own. The biggest trick is finding that buyer, right? If you can find your own buyer, you could save thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, depending on what your price point is, because these are all based off of percentages, right? However, if you're solely trying to do that and you're not trying to get and offer it up for a realtor to bring a buyer to you, you could be really narrowing your focus down and eliminating about 95% of the market that has other buyers that are being represented by realtors. So do consider having buyers coming in and paying maybe a portion of what you would have paid by initially listing. Number two is you have control of the sale. Whatever you want to do, you can do. If you don't want to put it on the internet, you don't have to. If you want to go out there and hand flyers out on the street, you totally can. You have complete control of everything that goes into actually selling your house on your own. All right, the third is you can devote your full attention to the sale. Now, this is really good if you have, say, a part-time job or you're retired and you just want to go ahead and have control of everything, and you could put your full attention into this. You only have one house that you have to sell. Now, if you hire a real estate professional, that person usually has other clients if they're a full-time agent, so they can't devote every second of that time to those. So anticipate that, but also know that they are professionals and they're used to juggling many things at one time. And the fourth thing is kind of threw it in there is if you're in a high traffic area, or if there's other houses that are listed by other brokerages around you, you can use that to your advantage. So as you use the other realtors marketing as their buyers and their marketing is generating traffic by those listings, they're going to drive by your house and see a for sale by owner, and maybe even go up and knock on the door, give you a phone call, or use their agent to see if they can coordinate a time for you for them to come in and take a look. So those are the pros. All right, let's jump into the cons and some of the things that you will want to be aware of. So the first is there may not be as much financial benefit as you might imagine. I've been through and I've been able to help a lot of for sale by owners when I've sat through them when I've represented the buyer on the other side. A lot of the times, you got to double check your calculations. Did you account for closing costs? Who's paying title? All the other fees that could associate to affect your bottom line. You got to make sure if you calculated those correctly, what's based off of percentage, what's based off of mills, those sort of things. Another big question is, how did you get your listing price? Did you get it from Zillow? Did you happen to get a mailer from a real estate agent that gave you some sort of idea of what it might go through? Was it based off of all the other property sales? Did you go to the properties appraiser site and average those out? Did you walk through comparable houses? How well do you actually know the market? that affects your listing price. Now, your listing price, as we call it in the industry as listing agents, as positioning price of where to position it to sell quickly. If it's not selling, there's usually two factors, all right? The two factors that affect this sale is going to be, one, the price, and two, the marketing. Now, it's going to be a mix of both depending on what sort of price that you're going to get at the end of the day. When you do hire a real estate agent, they are professional marketers when you hire them to list the house. So is that marketing going to offset the cost of what you're going to have to lower the price down? Remember, this is supply and demand. You want to position your house to get multiple offers so that it drives that price up. Number two of the cons, marketing your home, it's not easy, especially if you don't have an established network like most full-time realtors do. Putting it online, everybody's putting it online. Your competitors, which are the other listing agents or other for sale by owners, are putting it online and syndicating to everything, all right? What else could you possibly do to market your home? Those are some things that you want to think about. Now, web real estate agent sites, like big ones like realtor.com, doesn't promote for sale by owners. The only ones that they're going to see on there are ones that are listed in the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, which is exclusive just for realtors. And just know that the house is not going to be marketed there. All right, number three, selling your home, it's hard work. It really is. That's how we as real estate agents can maintain this as full-time. If you have the time to do this, that's great. If not, it takes a lot of work. You have inspections, repairs, you got to get the right photos, and then put that in quotation marks are you going to get a professional photographer? Who are you going to use? Are you going to do video? Is video working in your area? You also have to get it listed, you have to show it, and so much more. There's a lot to do here. You have to also be able to answer the phone any time of day, and if somebody comes and knocks on the door, be able to show the property at that time, or you could have lost out on that potential sale. And then during that time, you also want to make sure that those buyers are pre-qualified. Then you're going to have to negotiate. And short caveat to this, if you've ever purchased a home or sold your home on your own and you've had to negotiate on your own, don't tell me emotions don't take part of that. Oh my goodness, even for me as purchasing a home and in trying to negotiate during that point, the emotions play a part. Having a third party makes a huge difference just to be able to take a step aside and look at the scenario. All right. Number four, for sale by owner websites, they're not that effective. For, say, militarybyowner.com, for salebyowner.com, FSBO.com, FSBO, there's a bunch of them out there. As much as they claim that they get a whole lot of traction, it is only such a fraction of the market. Most of those people getting on those sites are usually the ones that are just looking for deals and trying to take advantage of you, or it could be other real estate agents trying to sell their services to you, which can, and I'm sure will be, annoying after a while. Number five, even with your full attention, you will struggle to replace essentially what a good real estate agent could do. Now, a good real estate agent's been out there, they've done that, they know the market, they know what's working in the market right now. The learning curve's pretty steep when you're in real estate for just one single transaction. Now, if you've done this a couple of times before and you're kind of like a what we call a wholesaler, is when that person buys a property. Now, they use a real estate agent because they don't have to pay them anything, right? Because if you're going to purchase a house, if you remember purchasing the house, you didn't pay that real estate agent a fee, normally in most states. And when that happened, then they would take that house, maybe fix it up a little bit, and then go for sale by owner to go ahead and mitigate that. So they could save off on half the commission or the entire commission, whatever it is, and that's how they make money, is wholesaling, just in case you were curious. But know that yes, the learning curve is going to be steep, and you're competing with these people. Number six, you need to get a qualified buyer. What's qualified? Make sure that they've got the money. So get a proof of funds letter, make sure that they've got that, or a pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter. Do you know the difference between the two? Is it legitimate? You know, those are the things that you're going to need to know about that buyer. Speaking about that buyer, you need to ensure and be careful to ensure your safety when you go ahead and show this house. There's scams out there where people will actually go out and they'll have 2 or 3 different people, and they'll knock on the door unannounced, be like, hey, can I see the home? They'll go in, and then one will go off, and the other one will follow you around the house. And what they're doing is they're going through your cabinets, trying to get your medicine, maybe see what they can get that they can steal, you know, those sort of things, you know. And then you're inviting a stranger that you know nothing about, that never had a pre-qualification letter or anything, and nobody knows that you're showing at that time. There's a lot of safety concerns. So just stay cognizant of that. Number 8, you need to do your research to ensure that you're legal. Now, here's the big thing why we get licensed as real estate agents. You need to read up on your responsibilities as a seller so that you're not in breach of contract. You'll need to prepare all that paperwork, and you really need to be certain and understand what you need to do by moving forward in this transaction. If not, I mean, they could take you to court, could get caught up in litigation. If that contract's not solid and you got this one off online, as a lawyer looked it through, if you need to, pay a lawyer per hour, and they are paid per hour, to look over this stuff to make sure that you're good and you understand this stuff. At the end of the day, these fees really start to get going, especially if your buyer comes through, everything seems to be great, and then they all of a sudden don't have the money and you've had your home off the market for a month or 2. It can get pretty hairy. Number 9, you will be a target for bargain shoppers, as I had mentioned before. They go out and see for sale by owner and be like, this person doesn't know what they're doing, and then kind of go out and see what they can do to kind of barter with you. Again, those wholesalers are one of those people. And know that the real estate agent, if they're not depending on the representation, if they're not representing you on either side, and of course that can be negotiated through commission, if they're not equal representation for you, they only work for the buyer. So their objective, depending on who it is to get the best price and the best terms available for that buyer. That's just the agent doing the job. All right, number 10, and I've only got one more after this. You may want to consult a real estate agent or an appraiser about your pricing of your home, also known as positioning. So you can invite a real estate agent to come down. They'll most likely give you a quick comparative market analysis to give you the position or range based on their market knowledge and all the comps that they pulled in order for you to see what that range is. If you don't really trust them and you want more in depth, you can get an appraiser to come in. You'll pay him, right now it's anywhere between $400, $500, $600 to come out there and do an actual appraisal. And then you can see, hey, this is what it's worth. But know that an appraisal is only good for one day and it's only one person's opinion. So the next appraiser could come through and say that it's something, well, not completely different, but different. And even if you show an appraisal to a buyer may go, well, that's not what I'm willing to pay for it. Know that fair market value is what a buyer's willing, ready, able, and buyer is willing to pay for it, and you're willing to sell it at. And the last one, at the very least, offer to pay the agents to procure a buyer. Some agents really just specify on buyers. Some teams, they're just buyer specialists, and they just go out and find buyers and bring them to your home. And they'll go out and they'll look at everything in the market to include your for sale by owner. So they'll look on the other sites. We know where to go look to find you guys if you're not listed on the multiple listing service. Just know that know what the prevailing payment is for these agents in that area. You can reach out to multiple and be like, hey, what are you getting as a buyer's agent? Are you getting 2%? Are you getting 3%? What would you get for half of the deal? Now, that may seem like a lot depending on your market, like when normally, and I can't say that there's an average, but we'll just say that it might be 6% in your market, right? And you want to pay them half of that? Well, think about it. You're also getting a real estate agent, you're going to use their contracts, right? You're going to use their contracts, their know-how. As soon as you're under contract and negotiations done, At that point, they're just trying to get you to close. So they already know, they've got their systems, they've got their people, and they even have their repair people that they can give you if you can't fix the stuff yourself or need those suggestions. Most of us are going to be like, yeah, of course, we'll go ahead and help you with that. But it's not that much. The biggest thing is the E&O insurance, errors and omissions. That's like top coverage of up to, most of the brokerages have up to $1 million worth of coverage just in case something goes wrong with this and it goes to litigation. Note that those agents are backed by that. That's also a great way to think about it. Well, if I'm listing my house with a brokerage, that's that other liability in the contract that if they screw up, you know, they're going to be covered. Now, if I do it myself, I'm personally liable. This is my own asset, unless it's owned by a corporation, and we can get into that some other time. But at the least, offer it up to pay whatever the market is. Now, don't insult the agents and say, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to go ahead and procure a buyer. I mean, depending on your price point of what you're selling, that's usually a slap in the face, and the agents will most likely feel insulted. I've seen it. Okay, that's all that I have for you. There's some pros and cons for being a for sale by owner. Either way, respect it. It's your asset. You can do what you want, even if you want to try it out for a little while. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email us or send us a message on whatever platform it is. If this was useful, or you know somebody else that would like this content and could use it, ensure to send that and share that with them. And until then, we'll see you at our next video. Take care.